Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and welcome to you both. I appreciate your being here before us. I, too, would like to focus on Syria. The chemical weapons attack against innocent civilians in Syria over the weekend is but the latest tragic atrocity in that country. Secretary Mattis, you referenced the refugee crisis. Human Rights Watch has reported at least 86 verified chemical weapons attacks there. So we know what a terrible situation exists there. But in response to the most recent attack, the President has signaled that the administration is reviewing possible military action. There are compelling uncertainties surrounding renewed strikes in Syria. Just to name a few, how these actions fit into a broader Syria strategy, which you've tried to address in some form, the nature of the support from the international partners who share our condemnation of Assad's atrocities, and how any renewed action in Syria, particularly should it escalate into a broader conflict, would impact our ability to engage in other areas of concern around the world, not the least of which also what it might require of us in that part of the world as well, in Syria. So these concerns are not de minimis or passing, and I hope that you would agree that it is clearly time for Congress to review existing authorizations for use of military force and to engage in the considered debate these times require. But as we speak, the administration is reviewing possible military courses of action, so I appreciate the timing of your appearance here today. So as you're considering possible steps forward, military actions you might take, what do you hope to achieve by any military action that the administration might eventually decide to take?
Congresswoman, I don't want to get, as you'll understand, into the details of a potential decision by the Commander-in-Chief due to this latest attack, which is absolutely inexcusable. There have been a number of these attacks. In many cases, you know, we don't have troops. We're not engaged on the ground there. So I cannot tell you that we had evidence, even though we certainly had a lot of media and social media indicators that either chlorine or sarin were used. As far as our current situation, if, like last time, we decide we have to take military action in regard to this chemical weapons attack, then like last time, we will be reporting to Congress just as we did when we fired a little over a year ago, slightly over a year ago. As far as the counter-violent extremists, counter-ISIS...
So let me go back to this. So before taking any action, you would report to Congress as to the nature of what that action might be?
I will speak only to the fact that we will report to Congress. We'll keep open lines of communication. There will be notification to the leadership, of course, prior to the attack, but we'll give a full report to the Congress itself, probably as rapidly as possible. On the counter-violence...
And so let's just stick with this. I'd also then like to know, would you take action absent support from our allies? I know that the administration is engaged in talks with France and the UK. Would you seek to have them involved in any action we might take?
As you know, ma'am, Congresswoman,
would that be a precondition?
Strategy is to engage by, with, and through allies in all things we do. I do not want to discuss the current situation because I owe confidentiality to our allies due to the sensitive nature of military operations and the need to keep those secret. But I think you'll find nothing inconsistent with your view in what we're doing without going into any details.
And what worries you most about any military action we might take, given the highly complex landscape in Syria, the many actors that are engaged there?
Well, there's a tactical concern, ma'am, that innocent people, we don't add to any civilian deaths and do everything humanly possible to avoid that. We're trying to stop the murder of innocent people. But on a strategic level, it's how do we keep this from escalating out of control, if you get my drift on that.
I get your drift. Thank you. I yield back.
Okay.
Mr. Kaufman.